Welcome to the Network Engineering video blog. I'm your host, Michael Crane. Well, today's video is going to be setting up a lag between the Juniper M5 router and the Cisco 3750 switch. It's going to be similar to the same setup that we had from the 3845 to the 3750, except we'll be configuring the Juniper. And I kind of wanted to show you the layout of the Juniper. If you watched my last video on the 3750, you'll know that I like putting access on the left, trunks on the right, and I'm doing the same thing in the Juniper, where I know I say access, actually uplink from the 3750, but you'll see all the access ports are going to be on the left and the trunks are going to be on the right. And another way of thinking about that is these are downlinks on the left, uplinks on the right, and the same with the Ethernet switch. So we're going to be setting up the lag between the M5 and the 3750. And to test it, I've moved the Xena compact test equipment ports off of the Cisco access side, the 3845 access, to the Juniper M5 access ports. If you watched my last video laying this out, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we'll go over it again in case you haven't. So yeah, that's about it. As you notice, I added another gig interface into the Juniper. I didn't do a video on it. If you saw the video on installing that, this is the exact same thing. This has an SFP in it, and so let's get started. I've updated the drawing a little bit, and I wanted to show you the updates before we get started so we can look at what we're provisioning. And what I've done is I've grayed out all the lines that we haven't provisioned yet. And so you'll see some of these are provisioned, are grayed out, and so they're not provisioned yet. And then I've also moved, this used to be the New York router right here. I've actually added another page just for the New York network. And you can see I kind of have a link into the provider cloud, and then just, this is kind of like if you think about it, like a flowchart connector. It just says Dallas office and its IP address and that sort of stuff. So another couple things I added. I added the bandwidth on some of the trunks, or some of the links, so we can see, you know, what bandwidth we have. I've also added the whiteboard picture down. This is from the last video. And I wanted to go ahead and capture our layout without having to redraw it. So I just, you know, copied a snapshot of the picture and copied it and pasted it in this document, and here it lives. And another thing I did, so if you notice, this is kind of turning into a network design document, and it's really good for capturing, you know, what our future plans are and what's already here. So so yeah, if you're ever tasked with making a network design document, this is a good start. And so when you're doing a document like this, I wanted to make sure that you always date it, name it, and version it. So as you can see, this is version 5, and that way, if you're going to meetings, there's not, you know, different people working off different versions, because that just doesn't work well. Okay, so let's get started on the lag. Here's the Juniper router, and we're going to provision 3 100 base T ports and use VLAN 11, and these are the ports are fast Ethernet 0/3/0 through 0/3/2. And so here's the port assignment on the Juniper. I've already physically plugged them in like I showed you earlier. And here's the port assignment on the 3750 Cisco. So, and of course everything's plugged in. And, well, that's about it. All the rest, if you notice, these are grayed out because physically they're there, but they haven't been provisioned and turned up yet. So I'm leaving everything grayed out. And of course, the access sides are grayed out. These are the links. These 3 links right here are the links plugging into the Xena compact test equipment. Yeah, so the 3 ports will be the 3 links off the Xena I was showing you are these 3 right here on the access side, and then we'll plug in this 1000 base T port up here on the Juniper, and that'll be the 4th port on the Xena. Okay, so whenever you're going to start provisioning on any piece of equipment, you always capture the existing config. You can save it locally to a flash if you want to. I usually just copy and paste it into a text. And so I have the 3750 here, and we have the Juniper right here. And I also like turning on monitoring. So when I turn up a physical interface, I can see the messages, or if the lag comes up or is bouncing up and down. So in the Juniper, to watch those messages, it's monitor, start, messages. Oh, I'm already monitoring them. And on the Cisco, it's term mon. So starting from the Juniper, we'll just go ahead and start from the Juniper. We're going to provision fast Ethernet 0/3/0 through 2. Now, the first thing we want to do is create an aggravated device. And this is a really goofy thing of Juniper's. I don't, there's probably a reason for it. I don't know what it is, but this is a big trap. So you really have to be careful with this. And so, and this does have to be done first. So if and I'll show you why. Let's just, so if I do a show interfaces terse, all right, there's no aggravated interfaces. That's right. They're aggravating. Aggregated Ethernet interfaces, and the acronym for that is AE. So you have to do a config, okay, and then it's set. Let's see, chassis. I'm trying to remember it. Chassis, aggregated devices, question mark, Ethernet, question mark. Oh, device count. Now we only need 1 lag. Okay, so if I just put 1 in here, it just gives you, if I do a run show interfaces terse, and oh, we forgot to commit it. All right. Oop. So if we do that show command again, you can see here's our aggregated interface. We'll just call it our lag. Let's just call it lag. Okay, and as you can see, it's provisioned AE0. So the next step on this is assigning Ethernet interfaces to the lag, right? And let's say I want it in lag 2. And the reason why I want it in lag 2, if you look at our drawing, so we've already created lag 1 on this 3750, which is going to the Cisco. So we want lag 2 that we know is going to the Juniper. So just for consistency, I'm just going to create lag number 2 on the Juniper. it's going to be set interfaces, and we want lag 2, so we're going to say AE2, and then we're going to say unit 0, family iNet, and we're going to give it an address of 192.168.8.11.2/16. And I got that from our design document somewhere, right here. Okay. So we're going to enter that. Oh, iNet address. Okay, and we're going to commit this. All right. Oh, it's telling me I need to provision a couple more things. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. It's going to be set interfaces, AE2, what is it, aggregated options, and then, what was it complaining about? Oh, link speed. Speed. And what this is, and we can look at it real quick, it's 100 meg. It's saying, okay, what speed are all your links, what is it going to be? It's going to be a bunch of 100 meg links. In the newer versions, you can mix them, but in this version of Junos, you can't. So, okay, we're going to do that, and we might as well set the other option, which is ether options, minimum links is 1. Okay, and let's see, is that it? Well, later we're going to turn on LACP, which is Link Aggregation Control Protocol. I guess we can go ahead and do it now. This is where you turn it on. So where is it? Oh, here it is, LACP. And then you have to tell it, is it going to be active or passive? And active means it's going to initiate control packets. Passive means it's just going to sit there and wait for control packets to come in. Since we're the router and we're going to be sending this to the Ethernet switch, we're going to be the active guy. Okay. Yeah, so we can commit this. And we can do a show. And as you can see, it provisioned this with no problems. Commit didn't fail, nothing failed. But I guarantee this is not going to work. And the reason why is, as I kind of showed you earlier, if you do run show interfaces terse, it's because there's only one lag, and that is lag 0. So if we want to get to lag AE2 to match our Ethernet switch, I'm going to have to create 2 more. See, aggregated devices right here. So this is actually going to have to be 3. So I'm just going to do a chassis. Oop. Set chassis. Aggregated devices. Ethernet. And device count is going to be 3. Commit that. And this is a real gotcha. If you miss this step, you're going to be scratching your head, why is my lag not working? And as you can see, the commit just ignores it. It doesn't know that there is no device AE2. It just allows it. So let's see. So show, if we do a run show interfaces terse again. Okay. Yeah, see now it sees the device, and it went ahead and provisioned the sub device, or sub interface, if you want to call it that. And I don't know if I've said this, but I'll show you real quick, or I'll mention it real quick. The way Juniper does its config is pretty nice, actually. So it goes in like, okay, here's layer 1, and there's some options, and this is layer 2, this unit 0. So this is like, you know, where your MAC address would be, and then under that, then you go up into the family INET, or the family, if you will, and that's layer 3. And we'll look at that when we do some more configuration. But I just wanted to mention that that's kind of the layout. So it's got physical, or layer 1, layer 2, and layer 3. Another thing I wanted to mention before we move on is I kind of blew by this minimum number of links. And what this is it's the minimum number of links to keep the lag up. So you can set it to, you know, if you want your lag to go out of service with, you know, 2 links or 3 links, and you can just adjust this number as you will. 1 is pretty typical. Usually you want your, you know, 1 link to keep the lag up, and of course if you don't have 1 link up, then you have 0 links, and then it goes down, which makes sense. So I just wanted to bring that up. I know I kind of blew by it earlier. Okay, so the last thing we need to do here is so we need to assign some links to our lag, and they're going to be oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. They're going to be fast Ethernet 0/3/0 through 2. So we're just going to type them in. So set interfaces, this guy right here, fast Ethernet 0, and we want with the options of 802.3. This is a link LACP, link aggregation control protocol, and we wanted to assign it to lag 2. All right, and the next one is number 1, and the last one is number 2. All right, I'm going to commit this. There we go. And see, with the monitoring now, you can see that it's attached those links to the sub interface. Okay, so the next thing that we need to provision is going to be the Cisco side. So take a look at our drawing right here. It's going to be lag 2, VLAN 11. We're using the .11 network, and it's going to be on ports 41 through 43. So let's just get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to config T, and this is going to be we're going to create the port channel, or the lag, and it's an interface port channel 2. Okay, so we're going to have lag 2. We're going to give it a description, and it's going to be the Juniper M5 uplink, and it's going to be network 192.168.11.0/16. All right, and that kind of, so when we're looking back through the config, we know what it is, and I'll probably go back and clean up the Cisco descriptions later, because I don't think we did that when we were provisioning them. So this is going to be an uplink, not a trunk. We're not turning on tagging, so we're going to say switch port mode access. All right. And we need to tell it what VLAN it's going to live in. So it's switch port mode. Oh, switch port access. VLAN 11. Well, it's VLAN 11, not 1. All right. And the last thing we want to do is I'm going to set the load interval to 30 seconds. So when we're monitoring it while testing, we don't have to wait a really long time for it to catch up. All right. And we're going to do a Control C and a write. All right. And okay, so next on the hit list is we're going to assign some interfaces to that lag we just created. And so it's config T, it's interface range. They're fast Ethernet interfaces, and they are looking at our drawing 1/0/41 through 43. So it's 1/0/41 through 43. Okay, we're going to give it a description of Juniper M5 uplink. And network is 192.168.11.0/16. All right. And it's also going to be access, so switch port mode access. And it's also, they're going to be on VLAN 11, so it's switch port access VLAN 11. Okay. And we want to assign them to our lag we just created, and good old Cisco, they like changing the name of everything, so it's channel group, because we created port channel 2, but now we got to assign it to channel group 2, and in mode. And this is where you turn on link aggregation. So we want it to be passive. So because the Juniper is going to be sending the PDUs down to the 3750, and we want it to sit there and wait. And you could make them active, and a lot of people do that, but I don't do it. It just creates a lot of extra network traffic. There are reasons to make them active, but I don't normally do it. So I usually make the downstream guy the passive, just as a matter of course. All right. So we got LACP turned on, and we want our load interval set to 30 seconds. And I think that's it. Control C. All right. Oh, we did forget something. I need to turn these guys up. So, or no shut them. So let's do a config T again. And, okay, interface range 41 through 43, and we're going to do a no shut. And let's see, we should see, oh, here we go. Okay. So this is on the Juniper side. Now you can see the Cisco is bringing up all the links. All right. Change state to up. So we got 41. I see 42, 43. What happened to 41? Let's see what we got here. Oh, good. So it looks like our lag has already come up on the Juniper side, and actually it came up on both sides. So we know link LACP is working, so that's good. I wonder if we seem to be missing a We'll just have to go look. Okay, it's a show IP interface. Oops, brief. And let's see. Okay, so 41 is down. It says it's administratively down. I see. It's not administratively down. It's down. That means we probably have a layer 1 problem. I'll have to check the cable and come back to it. But we can see our port channel is up. That's good. So let's see. We can look at that too real quick. It's show interface port channel 2. And I get it enter here. There's all kinds of stuff. We're interested in the ether channel. There we go. Primary aggregator, age of the port channel, not very long, 19 minutes. Number of ports 2. There's nothing in hot standby. And we are using LACP. And it sees both of our ports. So I'm going to go check the physical cable. I'm guessing there's something wrong with it. We can probably check that from here if we want. Show interface fast 1040. And yeah, it's just down. I'm guessing there's a cable. Yeah, see, it says not connect. So there's probably a cable problem. Let me go check that real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I replaced the cable, and as you can see, it came right up. So we had another layer 1 problem. All right, bundle state, port status change. Okay, so yeah, this looks pretty good. One last thing I want to provision in this Ethernet switch, and this is not necessary because this is a layer 2 device. But just for testing purposes, I'm going to go ahead and provision an interface or an IP address on this VLAN, and I'm doing that so we can ping the Juniper router from the Ethernet switch. And this is just so I can make sure everything is connected. We'll do real testing in the next video with the Xena Compact test set. So config T, and we're going to do interface VLAN 11. All right, we're just going to give it a IP address. IP address is going to be, let's see, what's our drawing say? Our drawing doesn't say. But it's going to be dot 3. Let's look at our Dallas one. Yeah, it's dot 3. So dot 3. We know this is /16. Okay. So this is IP address 192.168.111.11.3, and it's 255.255.255.128. Okay. And Control C and a right here. And another step I always do, and this will get you every time if you don't do it. I don't know when this works and when it doesn't, but it's config T, and it's VLAN 11. Okay, we're configuring the VLAN. You give it, you know, different things, but I'm going to change the state, and I'm just going to tell it state active. And I don't know how many times I've been burned by that. So I think I saw it kind of say it came up earlier, but anyway, I do it just as a matter of course because I have been burned many times by that. Okay, so here's the big test. Ping 92.168.11.2. Oop, 2. Hey, there we go. Okay. And yeah, that's not, I mean, I could pull the links one at a time out and mess around with a little bit. We'll do that, you know, in the next video. This video is probably getting long enough as it is. So we know we have connectivity, so everything's good. Okay, so let's just try pinging. Make sure we got duplex. We'll try pinging the Ethernet switch from the Juniper 92.168.11.3. Yep. Very good. So one last thing I wanted to show is just some commands to look around. So in the Juniper, if you do the show interface terse, interfaces terse, you get this, and you can kind of see that our 3 ports are they're all up. The links are up. The admin's up. They're assigned to this. Well, it says aggregation, Ethernet, net, but they're assigned to LAG 2, basically 2.0, and here's the IP address that we assigned to our LAG, which is similar to what we did with the Cisco. And you notice we didn't create a VLAN in the router, and that's because it's a layer 3 device, and it's looking at this LAG as an interface and not so much as a VLAN. The newer versions of Junos, you can create VLANs in it, but the only reason why you do that in the Juniper would be if you wanted to turn on tagging, so it knew how to tag the Ethernet packets. But like I said, this is a layer 3 device. The routers usually always are, I should say. So yeah, and the other command, the show LACP interfaces, that's about it. Oh, you can do the show interface AE2, which is basically looking at the LAG, and oh, and on the Cisco side, you can do the show IP interface brief, and that it shows you the VLAN. Interesting. So it says manual. Maybe that's because I manually turned it up. That's kind of interesting. And here's our other VLAN. It's up. You can see they're both up. Go down to our interfaces. Where are we? 41. Yeah, so you can see all these guys are up. All right. And let's see. That's another. Oh, we can do a show VLAN. And here's our VLAN right here, VLAN 11. This shows all the interfaces assigned to VLAN 11. Yeah, it's showing it as the port channel. So since these are assigned to the port channel, you're not seeing the VLAN, I mean the 41 through 43 in here. It's just saying port channel. Okay. So there's that. And then like I showed you earlier, it's the show interfaces port channel, port channel 2. And if you do a question mark, there's all kinds of junk you can look at. I usually look at the ether channel, and that kind of gives me, you know, the lag information that I'm looking for. Show LACP neighbor. Oh, there we go. So this is what you need if you're going to try to start debugging some of this stuff. And we'll look at this in another video. We'll have to get all our debug commands together and see what stats we can pull out of this, especially when we start doing the testing. We'll want to monitor some of this stuff. Well, there you go. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, and I'll try to answer them the best I can, and I'll see you next time.